It's inevitable that you will age and you will acquire certain difficulties. If you don't create an inclusive culture, you will be out of a job, basically.
I have cerebral palsy and muscle wasting, unfortunately. But I have one rule in life: always try your best. And I want to try and make things happen and make a difference.
I have dyslexia, ADHD, and I think I'm going to say this properly, bilateral enthopathy, which is a type of arthritis, but in the tendons. I'm interested in most things. I've never been bored because there's so many interesting things to do.
I have Alice Dunlow's condition. In my case, I had sensory issues. I wear double hearing aids. I have lots of supplication and dislocation, which can then also cause fractures. It's very much part of me. I'm not just Rahina, I'm Rahina, who's a black disabled woman. My family always just describe me as Rahina, the feisty one.
I was working as a resident liaison officer and trying to get my reasonable adjustments. That was a job in itself. I use something called Dragon software, which means all my systems are set up by voice. I just said, I need this to be able to do my job. If you pay for this, you get it reimbursed. And they just didn't believe me. So I was near 2 years with no adjustments. It made me feel, for the first time in my life, isolated and disabled. I had to leave a job which I quite liked.
One thing run parallel with all the workplaces I've been is the challenges in trying to explain around reasonable adjustment, particular screens, keyboard, chair. I felt every time I went to a new building, it was starting the whole battle again. My last job was safeguarding adults lead for South Manchester. I was passionate about my work, but I felt I needed to put my health and well-being first. There's only that many battles you can fight, and I decided to resign and retire.
It's easier said than done finding work because you have to have a suitable employer. And many organisations tend to think of, oh, the cost, the cost, the cost. But no organisation should have an excuse not to employ a person with a disability because there is money available. Although, while we have access to work in principle, when you try to access, it's a bit like the postcode lottery.
The best workplace that I've worked was probably Peabody Housing. They were amazing. The first time I got my voice activation, they just said, oh, come. They didn't worry about access to work. They just said, oh, we'll get reimbursed eventually. And I got all my training and they just wanted me to work. So that was totally amazing.
I've had some really positive experiences as a social worker, and that depended on the manager and their willingness to understand and be supportive. Having that consistent person you link with when the reorganization happens every other year, that was really, really helpful.
Having the scheme help with transport costs is a real help. I want to be seen as an equal. I don't want to be seen as somebody special just because I have a disability.
What I wish employers would understand about disabled and older workers is that they're coming with a lot of experience and they're proper talented because they've had to find unique ways of sorting out things, which I think that's amazing. So make people feel inclusive and also intergenerational because, we're all going to age. So you're reflecting society. You're going to have more creativity and innovation.
What I'm asking of employers is to be open minded, have an approach of being person centered from a social model, not just about performance and competence. It needs to be more than that, more humanized way of working. Otherwise, we'll become a society who's ostracized all the older disabled people. We also need changes in the DWP access to work, about those assessments for reasonable adjustments, because they take 2 years wait, if not 3 years.
There's 1 in 4 people with disabilities. Anybody could become disabled. What is good is to have confidence in me, to have trust in me. There's an awful lot of life in me yet.